श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
ॐ पट्ठाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशधायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवदेशिनीम्। नमस्तुते वैशविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन तया भारततैलपूर्ण प्रज्वालितज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तत्र वित्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वपनिषद्गावदग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थवत्सुधीर्भक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटजयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन बेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनवर्तिनी शक्तिर्न खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पराशर्यवचशर्यम् अलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानक्खनक्केशरम् हरिकथा सम्बोधनबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरह पेपीयमानं मुदा भुवद्भारतपङ्कजम् वलिमलो वृद्धं शिनश्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पुङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुत स्तुन्नन्ति दिव्यै स्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रम उपनिषद्गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानवस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यन्तं न विदुषुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः।
ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्। So yogakshamam vahamyaham. Ananya chinta. Ananya, always thinking. Always thinking. Now, firstly, we will, whether we get to the yogakshamam vahamyaham, that's a different, and we will talk about that. But can we actually do always thinking? Now, that is one itself, it's a big problem. Always thinking. Son has come back late from school. Bus has not come. School bus is, we are waiting for the school bus. Right? Where is your thought? Is it your thought on Brahman, or is your thought on the school bus? Or is it in the Brahman which has taken the form of the school bus? So, our Ananya Chinta, it is a huge amount of practice that is required because our mind tends to waver. And which is where, therefore, Japa, Prataka, all these practices that we are talking about, these are not practices for called meditation, although a lot of people call this meditation. These are basically practices to train the mind to firstly learn to sit in one place and then get focused onto one particular thought. So that is what, until that is done, contemplation becomes impossible. So here he says, Ananya Shintayanto Ma Chintayanta, thinking of, contemplating. He is not talking of saying, pray to me. He is saying, Chintayanta. Praying also he will say, but he will say it in a different sense. Those who are doing this exclusively, Paryupasate, Upasate, Paryupasate, Pari Upasate. Remember, we saw Pari Prashna. So there is something Upasana and Pari Upasana. Can they mean the same thing? Obviously not. Krishna is, or sorry, Vyasamuni are not going to are very, very tight with words. So therefore, they will not use a word where it is not meant to be used. So he is using word Pari Upasana, exclusive. Exclusive. Upasana can be generic. Exclusive Upasana. Pari Upasana. For such people, Tesham, Nityabhiyuktanam, Nitya Abhiyuktanam, those who are always in such meditation, in such contemplation, for such people, I supply the spiritual assets, yoga, and I protect the spiritual asset, kshema. Vahamyaham, vahami, I carry, vahan, if you remember the word, vahamyaham. So now, both Parthoda and Raghuji had thoughts that they shared. I mean, Raghuji hasn't shared, neither has Parthoda. They shared the fact that they needed to discuss this particular shloka a little bit more. So let's start with that. Please, Parthoda.
Thank you. I will like to, I came across two stories which I will share with you all, just to make the situation a little lighter. But before that, I want to respond to what you said. It's very interesting. I did not think about this particular aspect. Actually, this was my question to you, which I will come later. But what you said, you know, that the school bus is not coming. Where is the mind? I have seen, you know, if you are very true to the Lord, you know, if you're a real devotee, I have seen that when the going is good, you don't think of him. So what he does, you know, he plays some trick with you. He goes on giving you some difficulties. And every time you think of him, I have seen, you know, sometimes I've thought, Hare Bapre, let there be some free time. No, he will go on giving you something.
Can I interrupt? Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
But I mean, there is such a very beautiful point that you have see. There is a whole chapter in the Mahabharata after the Yuddha is over and before the starting of the discussions with Bhishma, in which Kunti has a very long prayer to Sri Krishna. And she recognizes Sri Krishna as the Supreme Spirit over there, as an embodiment of the Supreme Spirit. And she prays to him. And she says, people come to you and pray for the good things. I am only going to pray to you that give me troubles. Because it is only when I am troubled that I will remember you. Because I am a frail human mind. Rabindranath Tagore took this entire episode and made it into a very beautiful poem called Kunti Avedon. Avedon means prayer, Kunti's prayer. He made that into a beautiful poem called Kunti Avedon, where he takes this and he dwells upon the frailty of human mind. I mean, see, Rabindranath Tagore was himself a huge, very deep philosopher. And he's taken this and he's dwelt upon the frailty of human mind, of how human mind behaves. So, such a beautiful thought, Parthoda. So, please carry on from there.
Yeah.
So you were saying, where is the time?
Yeah. I will. Is it good? Yeah.
If the bus doesn't come, first तो I will say, hey भगवान, पहले तो आप जल्दी जल्दी driver को भेज दीजिए. तो नहीं होता है. Then I will be free for the other one.
Yeah. So it is to an extent transactional, but even if we start in a transactional manner, a time comes when that thing actually melts away. You merge with him. So according to me, let there be a transactional relationship for some time to come. Okay, Lord, do this, do that. Be with me. If you, even if you are not asking for an immediate relief from the trouble, at least you are telling him that be with me, give me strength. I should be able to face it. So that gradual upgradation happens in the relationship. Okay, now coming to the
As long as
story.
the prayer is with the humility that I
Yes.
cannot do anything and I need your help, such a person, Sri Krishna says, is called an RT. RT.
Oh.
We saw that, right? The 4 types. And in the 4 types, he says there is one type called the RT, he who is in trouble. So, Gajendra, we used the example of Gajendra when we were learning this, right? Artharthi, he is praying for wealth. Dhruva Maharaj, right? Then there is the Jignasu, he who is praying for knowledge. But all of these prayers are with humility, with the surrender of ego. So such a prayer, Artharthi, even Ravan is Artharthi. But Ravan is not a bhakta. He's not classified as a bhakta. He's classified in a ritual, as a person who is supposed to has an authority over a certain area. But he's not classified as a bhakta in the sense of what we are looking at in the Bhagavad Gita. So please, your stories.
Okay. So I will tell you the stories about for everybody. Yogakshemam, Vaham Maham. So first Yogakshemam, then we'll come to Vaham Maham. Now in Yogakshemam, Lord says that he will protect, he will give you what you don't have and he'll protect what you have. Now here one clarity I got is he will not give you like I don't have a BMW. So Lord give me a BMW. Lord will not give you BMW. Lord will give you 2 good limbs to walk. I mean, the basic necessities of life, Lord will give you. So that's one thing I understood, that he will not give what you are greedy for. He will give you what you need. Now, you talked about a nice thing I just now listened, that he will give you the spiritual assets and he will protect the spiritual assets. That's a very nice way to understanding this. But let us understand this from the perspective of getting material things. Okay. Now here the story goes like this. It's the story of Sant Tulsidas. I don't remember whether you ever told us this story, so I thought of sharing. What happened? Tulsidas, all of you must be knowing, he wrote Ramcharitmanas and of course Hanuman Chalisa also. So the same Tulsidas, he was a big devotee of Lord Rama. And one day what happened is merchants came, some rich people, and they gave him a lot of dose, lot of things. And he is not worried about getting anything. So he got it and he kept it in his heart. And then he went to sleep. Now the 2 thieves came the dead of the night to steal, and they came to know that he has been given so much of stuff. And as they came near the heart, they found 2 beautiful looking young people. They are on guard of the heart. One is a little dark colored, other is very fair skinned and with bow and arrow. And they are moving around. So they thought, okay, let us wait for some more time. And then they came a second time, they found those 2 same people are moving around. Third time, still they are there. So they could not rob him off of the stuff. Now, the break of dawn, they come and they found nobody was there. So they fall on the feet of Sant Tulsidas and say, Swami, this is what happened. Whom did you employ? And we came to rob you of your things. But whom did you employ? Throughout the night, they were guarding you. Now, at this stage, Tulsidas understood that Lord Rama and Lakshmana, they came and they were guarding his heart. Now, what will be the reaction? Oh Lord, you have come, and you will start, praising the Lord. No, instead of that, now this is the bhakti. He started crying, saying that, Lord, because of me, because of the wealth I got, you had to keep awake throughout the night and guard me. So he immediately did what? He called the local villagers and all and distributed all that he had gathered. He had got from those merchants. And he wanted to relieve the Lord. Now, so this story moved me. And of course, this is about the material things. But I wanted to interpret, as you said, that God, if Lord gives me spiritual assets, he will be the one also to protect the assets, protect the spiritual assets. That is one clarity I got. Second story on Vaham Maham. That's also very interesting. This maybe Samir you said once. I'm not able to remember, but I wanted to share this story also. Vaham Maham. Here it says, Lord says, I will carry it to you, not I will give it to you. I mean, this is the beauty of these things. So this is what moved me. This again, the story goes like this. Jagannath Mishra, the noted scholar of Puri, he was writing the commentary on Bhagavad Gita. When he came to 922, he paused. And he said, Vaham Maham, why should Lord carry to you what you don't have? He could not agree with that. So he cut it with a red pen, he cut it. And he wrote, Dadam Maham. What you don't have, I give you. I don't carry. Lord, you cannot carry. I don't want you to carry it for me. So he did that. And then they had their difficulties in the house. They did not have, grains, etc., vegetables. So he went out to get something. And the wife of Jagannath Mishra was in the house. And after some time, she finds that a beautiful looking boy carrying on his head a lot of stuff for food, vegetables and grains, etc. He comes and gives. He said, Beta, who sent it? Who sent it? He said, no, your husband sent it. Oh, Aksha, okay, you keep it. But then she notices to her horror that there is a huge red cut on his forehead, across his forehead. Then he says, but who did this to you? He said, your husband. He said, oh my goodness, what has happened to him? So this boy keeps it and goes away. And Jagannath Mishra comes back. And this lady confronts him, says, what has happened to you in old age? Have you lost your mental faculty or what? He said, what has happened? She said, you sent all this stuff, food stuff, but the boy who brought it, such a nice looking boy, and you hit him like this. Jagannath Mishra immediately understood. He ran to his crypt and he erased that thing. He said, no, Lord really carries it to you. Now, when I looked at this, I started thinking, that's what actually my question to Samir. I will come to that what happens to us? Then I started relating to my own life and I found that actually, see, I'm about 70, 71 now. And in my long life, when I look back, there are so many occasions when actually he came and carried me. Otherwise, I would not have been here today. Situation was totally beyond me. And absolutely from the blue, something happened, some grace came, and then I was saved. Now, I could relate myself to this. So the question comes to my mind, that's my question to Samir, that what have I done to get this kind of a grace from him? I have got the grace and I have no doubt in my mind. So when he says that to those men who worship me alone, what is the meaning of these words? If I want to have absolute clarity, does it mean I always sit in front of his idol or picture and go on chanting his name, or I go to some mountain, in some seclusion, or I live my life by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita? So this is my actually question. So I wanted to tell you all these stories. Sorry for that.
And I mean, firstly, thank you for sharing the stories. And as far as carrying is concerned, there used to be a very interesting small movie which we used to be shown that movie once a year, every year in our school. And this was a story where this person, he's died and he goes to heaven. And in heaven, he is shown his life. He's shown that how he journeyed through his life. And as his events are passing by, the representation of him is the footprints that he is passing through. And it is shown that he has a second pair of footprints that are always walking with him. So he asks, who is the second pair of footprints? So the Lord sitting next to him says, it is me. I was sitting next to you and I was walking with you. And then every time there were troubles in his life, there was only one pair of footprints. Every time there was trouble in his life, there was just one pair. So he said, but Lord, every time there was trouble, you were not there. So the Lord smiled and said, those were my footprints. I was carrying you. See, in all our lives, all of us, and in every life of ours, he has always carried us. And it is not to you, me, Raghuji, or Lalitaji who have started possibly trying to find out who we are and so on and so forth. Each one of us, we live in grace. But some of us are not open to grace. We have suddenly become open to grace with the grace of the Guru, with the grace of the Lord himself. We have become open to grace. We are seeing things happen in our lives. And therefore we say, oh, these are not coincidences. This is actually the working of grace. Right? The same things when they are happening with other people, because they are not open, they do not see them. But it is not that the Lord is partial. There is no partiality in him. Right? He is like the sun, completely impartial, shining on everything. If I keep my windows closed and I say there is no sun, it is I who am blind. It is not the fault of the sun. Number one. Number two, in the physical material world, does Ishvara act? That is the nature of Ishvara. The nature of Ishvara itself is to act in this world. He is Gunamaya. He is Gunamaya, and using the gunas, he has transcended. He is not affected by the gunas, but he is in them. Right? He is in them, but he is not affected by them. Just examine it as like a mask. Right? When he wears that mask, he plays the role of a particular actor, whatever that mask is telling him to do, whatever that mask is, king, pauper, whatever. But therefore he is inside that pauper, isn't it? But the pauper is not inside him. So the same way, he is permeating here. And when therefore he says that you continuously, satatam, he says, constantly, right? We have seen the word. He says ananya. He says those who worship me, pariyupasate, exclusively, me meaning consciousness, in whatever form you want to look at it. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. The Rigveda very strongly declares that. It doesn't say murkha bahuda vadanti. It says vipraha bahuda vadanti. Those who are wise, vipraha, those who are wise, they worship that one's truth, one existence in multiple forms. Not the foolish. See, the Rigveda is very clear here. It says that because you are wise, you understand that every form has become him. And in that form, therefore, I see that consciousness and I glorify in it. So I hope I've tried to answer your question. I hope, Raghuji, you had also some discomfort.
So like I said, I was uncomfortable that Sri Krishna was creating an expectation. And I know when there is expectation, there is potential for disappointment. Why create an expectation? So then I said, hold on, if I am uncomfortable about this, maybe it is my understanding of this that is wrong. I read back to that and I realized he's not creating any expectation. I felt he's just stating a fact. It's quite accomplished. He's stating the fact. That's how it is.
Correct.
There is no expectation here. It is my interpretation that creates an expectation. I do this, I should get that. No, he's not. He's just stating a fact. And we should take it only as that. So that was one thought that came. And also, when we were talking about this, go back to this one. Yeah. Paryupasate. See, I have misidentified my identity with my ego. And that is a very strong misidentification. But it's an identification. It's strong. At no time in all my interactions am I confusing the fact that anybody interacting with me is interacting with his ego. It never crosses my mind. I am completely immersed in this misidentification with my ego. As I evolve spiritually, I expect the ego will take the back seat and maybe even hopefully ever vanish. And my identification will become with the Parabrahman. Then I will be, whatever I'm doing, I will never be confused that I am the Parabrahman doing the task. So I am Paryupasate, I'm completely immersed in my thinking of the Parabrahman. I'm doing my act it's the same way as I'm doing my acts now, but misidentified with the ego. Then I'll be doing my act, but I'll be identified with the Parabrahman. So I see that this may be what he means when he says you should ever self-controlled, you should be thinking of no other. I think, that's my understanding of that.
No, the understanding is perfectly right. And therefore, he says, we have to understand this. See, humility, why do we look and glorify and extol these saints? There is the story of Sant Tukaram. So Sant Tukaram was sitting in Pandharpur and writing abhangs and praying, and he was doing his Vitthalanama. And there were people who were jealous of him because he was being extolled by a lot of people because of his poetry, because of his songs, because of his beautiful voice. So one of these people who were jealous of him, he employed one of the local guys and said, "Tum jaake usko disturb karo." So this man went there and he said, "How do I disturb this man? He's sitting in doing his jap. How do I disturb him? Let me do this." He went there and he spat on him. So as he spat on him, Tukaram got up, opened his slippers, entered the river, washed himself, came back and sat down and started his Namajapa. Now this carried on for 100 times. At 100 times, this man who was spitting, he went fat on his did Shashtanga Namaskara and said that I have never seen somebody like you. For 100 times I have spat on you. Not once have you even reacted. So Tukaram said, "Let me first bow down to you. Because of you, I got 100 baths in the holy river today. It is Vitthala's grace that he sent you to make me do 100 baths so that all the sins that I have committed are washed away." Now see, isn't this exactly what we were talking about a little while back? How would you react if somebody spat on you? We would react because of our ego. We would react because of our identification of our body. We would react because we are not open enough to grace. Maybe we have opened one, those वो पुराने विंडोज में ऐसे वो क्या होता था उसको हम लोग बांग्ला में उसको खड़खड़ी बोलते थे. So those slats, they had a rod and then you could pull that rod and then you turn the rod, the slats would remain open, right? Very interesting windows we used to have. I don't know if any of you have even seen those windows. We used to have those windows in Calcutta houses. So we possibly opened one slat. We were allowed some light to come in. And we have a long journey to go. But that surrender, that amount of surrender, that is what he's talking about when he says pariupasana, exclusively. Exclusively. It's not about saying, oh, do I see him in Vitthala or do I see him in Kali? He is unlimited. You see him in any form you want. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa had once told, somebody went and told him that that which has expanded into this universe is Brahman, right? Brihat karoti iti Brahma, and so on and so forth. And a lot of Sanskrit he gave. So and then he said, how can you worship that immensity in this small stone? So Sri Ramakrishna smiled at him and said, is this immensity omnipotent? Is it Sarva Shaktiman? Yes, it is Sarva Shaktiman. And you have limited its Shakti to say you cannot be in this stone. How can you limit it? It is in every form that you can. It is your consciousness, your limited, your limitation that you are unable to see it over there. And therefore, he says in the next shloka, we have to look at this next shloka, otherwise 22 itself is going to have gobble up of the entire time. Yepyanya devata bhakta, yepyanya devata bhakta, yajante shraddhayanvitaha vitaha, yajante shraddhayanvitaha, yepyanya devata bhakta, yajante shraddhayanvitaha, tepi mameva kaunteya, tepi mameva kaunteya, yajantya vidhipurvakam, yajantya vidhipurvakam, tepi mameva kaunteya, yajantya vidhipurvakam, yepyanya devata bhakta, yajante shraddhayanvitaha, tepi mameva kaunteya, yajantya vidhipurvakam. I'll just explain the word meaning. The meaning is very, very clear. So therefore, ye, those who, api, although, anya, other, devata, other devatas, we have known devatas as those principles that enable us to function in this material world. Bhaktaha, devotees, yajante, worship, shraddhayanvitaha, this is very important. Not just worship, worship faithfully, worship with shraddha. They, api, also, mam, me, eva, only, kaunteya, Arjuna, yajanti, worship, avidhi purvakam, in the wrong way. In the wrong way. When he says in the wrong way, it is not wrong as in prohibited. It is wrong as in, if I tell you, I have to go from, now, Parthoda lives in Powai. And I tell you that I am going to Powai via Jogeshwari Vikhroli Link Road. You will say that is the right way. Now, if I tell you, I am going to Jogeshwari, I am going to Powai, but I will come via Santa Cruz Link Road, Santa Cruz Chembur Link Road. What will you tell me? You will tell me that is the wrong way. Right? What is the destination? The destination is still Parthoda's house. It is still Powai. But the way can be wrong. Wrong does not mean it is prohibited. It means it will be longer. It means that it will take more trouble. It will give me more interruptions. And Gurudev used to say when he explained this verse, he says, why do you want to go circuitously all over the world when it is available right in front of you? Why do you want to go all over the place? Go here, now, right now. You have tied yourself like the donkey who tied himself throughout the whole night. Open that and be free. Open that and be free. But see, what happens is we cannot do it ourselves sometimes, most of the times. So there is the story about the lion cub. And the lion cub, there was a lioness who was attacking a herd of sheep. So the villagers, they got together and they managed to kill the lioness. But the lioness was pregnant at that time. And in that process of dying, she gave birth to this young lion cub. Now, the villagers felt such a young, and the lion cub, it's a small baby, like a kitten. So everybody fell in love with it. They said, okay, let us keep it with us. And the lion cub used to go around along with the sheep. And it used to eat grass. Now, this is a story, right? So lions don't eat grass, but then this is a story. So the lion used to eat grass, and it used to make sounds and bleating like the sheep. Then one day, a huge lion, he suddenly appeared, and all the sheep, it roared. As it roared, all the sheep ran away. Now, this lion cub, it got so scared that it was frozen. It couldn't move. And this lion came up here, and he caught hold of this lion cub by its neck, and it said, "What are you doing amongst these sheep? Why are they are so friendly with you?" So he said, the lion cub said, "Meh, meh." So the lion caught hold of this lion cub, took him to the pond, showed him his face. And the lion saw his own face. The lion cub saw his own face, and he roared. And what came out when he roared? Aham Brahmasmi. Isn't it? That is the need for the Guru. Sometimes you need somebody to catch hold of your throat, catch hold of your neck, take you there and show you. But then that roar has to come from us. He will not roar for you. He can only roar for himself. Hence here, Bhagavan very clearly says that it is as long as they are faithful, they are doing their work very, very consciously. They are doing it with the three conditions that I always say. Are they doing enough? Are they doing properly? Are they doing consistently? They will arrive at the final destination, but they are doing it wrong. Right? Yes, Raghuji.
Yeah, we have one vakyam in our Sanjaya Vandanam. Then they say, Akashat Padidam Toyam, Eta Gachit Sagaram.
Yes.
Sarvedeva Namaskara, Sri Keshava Pratigati. Just like the drops that fall from the sky, they all end up in the Sagar. Okay. Same way, all the prayers, Sarvedeva Namaskara, Sri Keshava Pratigati. It all goes to Sri Keshava.
Correct. Absolutely. So that whole thing, everything ultimately goes there. Now, the question is not about ultimately. The question is, why are you waiting for ultimately? Why are you not doing it now? Why are you waiting for that? Hence, he goes on. The next few shlokas are fairly simple. Aham hi sarvayajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha na tu mam abhijananti tatvena tasyavanti te na tu mam abhijananti tatvena tasyavanti te aham hi sarvayajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha na tu mam abhijananti tatvena tasyavanti te. Aham, I, he, in truth, sarva, of all, yajnanam, of all yajnas. Yajnas is activities. Bhokta, enjoyer, cha, and Prabhu, the Lord, he who directs. Eva, only. Cha, and na, not, tu, but. Mam, me, abhijananti, realize. Not only know, but realize. Abhijananti, jananti, to know. Abhijananti, to realize. Tatvena, in the actual sense. It's the essence. Tatvena. Ataha, therefore, Chavanti, fall down. Chavanti literally means fall down, which basically means to come back into this samsara. So what he's saying here is, I am the enjoyer. I am the Lord of all the activities that you are doing. I is the consciousness that drives me to do everything. Across this entire universe, it is not the microcosm he is talking about. He is talking about the macrocosm, all activities. But those who fail to realize this, they get trapped and they keep coming back, they keep coming back, they keep coming back. Now we have understood this, we have looked at this in multiple ways, so I'm not getting into too much discussion on this. Let us move on to the next shloka. Yanti devavrata devan, yanti devavrata devan, pitrin yanti pitrivrataha, pitrinyanti pitrivrataha, yanti devavrata devan, pitrinyanti pitrivrataha, bhutani yanti bhutejya, bhutani yanti bhutejya, yanti madhyajinopi mam, yanti madhyajinopi mam, bhutani yanti bhutejya, yanti madhyajinopi mam, yanti devavrata devan, pitrin yanti pitrivrataha, bhutani yanti bhutejya, yanti madhyajinopi mam. Here we have to understand that the words Deva, Pitru and Bhuta do not mean the literal meanings of what he is saying here, right? And now some people who want to interpret this in that way will put it that way. There is no problem with that. That is one interpretation. So Deva, in that interpretation, Deva is the people who live in the Deva Loka, Pitris are the people who live in the Pitra Loka, and Bhutas are the people who live in the Patal Loka. And therefore, the literal meaning is those who worship, who yanti, go, Devavrata, those who worship of the Devas, worshipper of the Devas, Devas. Those who worship Devavrata go to the Devas. Pitrin, the ancestors, yanti, go, Pitrivrataha, those who worship the ancestors. Bhutani, Bhuta here means ghosts, if that is the meaning, if literal meaning we take. Bhutani to the ghosts, yanti, go. Bhutaijyaha, those who worship the ghosts. Yanti, go, mad, yajinaha. Right? Madhyajinoho, mad, yajinaha. Those who go worship me, come to me. Api, mam. Yajina, come to me. Yajina means devotees. Those who are worshipping, those who are doing the yagyas are coming to me. They come to me. Now this, I'm sure now, by now, we have understood that Bhuta means those who are in the material world. If you live in the material world and you worship the material world, where will you go? You will go remain in the material world. If you are worshipping the ancestors, which means you are just carrying out the activities that your ancestors have done and you are building on that, where will you be? Where your ancestors were. Right? That is why we say that the son of a Birla will be a Birla. The son of an Ambani will be an Ambani. You are just building on what you have done. Correct? And those who worship the Devas, which means those who are worshipping something slightly more, something more in terms of the principles of what life alone itself is, where they will go? They will go to the Devas. But if you go beyond all of this and redirect yourself into what is driving the Devas, what is driving the Bhutas, what is driving the Pitris, which is consciousness, then where will you go? You will go to consciousness. Yes, please.
In one of the earlier chapters, Deva was used to indicate the Indriyas, the sense organs and the way we
Not
perceive.
the Indriyas, the ruling principles behind the Indriyas.
Yeah. The ruling principle behind the Indriyas. That's right.
Same meaning here again. Same meaning here.
So I would have thought this meant that those who want the sensory pleasures will get the sensory pleasures.
So, okay. So, when I said here, I wanted to put a gradation, and that therefore I put Devas as another meaning here to say that Devas could mean one of the things that is shining. Another meaning, and to be consistent, we will keep with that meaning and say that Devas are the ruling principles behind what our Indriyas are. Right? Which is why the ruler of all the Indriyas is called Indra. And therefore, those who run after sensory pleasures, they will get sensory pleasures. Those who run after what their ancestors have built will remain where their ancestors were. Those who are running after the material world, they will get material benefits. They will have the bhutas. They will be satisfied with the bhutas. But those who turn inward and go to what drives the devas, bhutas, and pitris are his consciousness, and you go to that, I will be that, then you will attain that. Now, earlier also he had talked about this. What you think about, what you continuously think about is what you will become. Right? In chapter 8, we had seen that. So if you keep thinking about me, then you will become me. And in chapter 8, he has declared that. So it's just an extension of that thought. 26. Now, this is a very interesting. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Tadaham bhaktyupahritam. Tadaham bhaktyuparitam ashnam. No, this will have to be taken up. Okay. Tadaham bhaktyupahritam. Tadaham bhaktyupahritam. Ashnami pratyatmanaha. Ashnami prayatatmanaha. Tadaham bhaktyupahritam. Ashnami prayatatmanaha. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Tadaham bhaktyupahritam. Ashnami prayatatmanaha. Patram, leaf, pushpam, flower, phalam, fruit, toyam, water, yaha, who, me, may, to me, bhaktya, with devotion, prayachati, offers, tat, that, aham, I, bhakti uparitam, offered with devotion, ashnami, I eat, literal meaning, I eat, partake, I swallow, ashnami, prayata atmanaha, one in pure consciousness, prayata atmanaha. So, the devotee who in pure consciousness offers me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water, to such I will take that with delight. I will eat that. I will consume that. Now, what is the meaning of this? I want us to do some manan here. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yoma bhaktya prayachati. Firstly, so there are two things that we want to understand. What is this patram pushpam phalam toyam? Let us think about that. Then the second manan that we need to do is, what is this offering with bhakti? What is the meaning of offering with bhakti? Yoma bhaktya prayachati. What is this offering with bhakti? And third, I consume. Ashnami, I consume. What is this consumption? What is the meaning of this consumption? These are the three manans that I want you to do. Not right now. We will stop here. This is the specific manan that I want to do, because this is going to lead us into a very interesting thinking that will come in the next chapter. So it is important to understand these three aspects of this particular shloka. Firstly, what is this meaning of patram pushpam phalam toyam? What is this conglomerate of four things that he has mentioned? What is the meaning of offering with bhakti? Yome bhakti bhaktya prayachati. What is this offering with bhakti? And then he says that which has been offered with bhakti, ashnami. Ashnami. What is this? What is this consumption? These are the three thoughts that I want you to think about when we have our next session. So that's where we'll stop for today. Just a quick announcement. Next Saturday onwards, we will restart our Aparokshanubhuti and cleared up all my Saturdays. So we'll shift this to Saturday. Mondays are not working out, so we will have to shift this to Saturday. Right. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om.